love it. I love that. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
How's
We
that
gotta
discussion to go at home,
We
at
got
home
to.
tonight where you visit with Irad?
Oh, yeah, he congratulated
All right,
us
ladies
with
and
the
gentlemen, the
water.
winner of the
So
Breeders'
you
Cup
have
Juvenile Turf is Structor, who remains undefeated. We're happy now to be joined by the winning connections, and that means starting from the left, owner Don Rachel, as well as the other co-owner Jeff Drown, and then winning trainer Chad Brown and jockey Jose Ortiz. Congratulations to all of you. Jose, I'd like to start with you because there was a lot of traffic in that race, a lot of trouble for some of the other runners, but you managed a nice trip. Can you just tell us about it?
Yeah, I had a good trip early on. He broke really sharp, put me in a pocket position, really nice and comfortable. He was very relaxed. But then when we hit the second turn, I didn't really like where I were. So I decided to easy him back just a little bit and let Tyler clear me. And when he did clear me, I came outside of him and I had a lot of horse. He overcome everything. We had some traffic, but good horses overcome and he did it.
The way you handled him like that, that says a lot both about the horse as well as Jose's ride. Chad, your impressions of both of those?
Well, the horse ran terrific. He had been training really, really well. I know he came into the race undefeated, but from his last win till today, the horse actually has matured and strengthened a lot, and he's really learned a lot. He's a class horse, and I think Jose did a terrific job. You know, Irad decided to ride the other horse, but when Jose's available, it wasn't much of a decision for us. We were thrilled to have Jose ride the horse. And, you know, even though he was drawn well on the inside, there's still a lot of decisions to make in there. And Jose, he made all the right decisions. I was real proud of both their efforts.
Don and Jeff, you guys are friends from the construction business, correct? In Minnesota?
Yeah, we're friends, you bet.
Especially today. Chad was telling Nick afterwards that he can't wait to try this horse on dirt. Your thoughts on not only today, but what could be ahead for a talented 2-year-old?
Well, I can't wait to see Chad try him on dirt. No, I mean, the opportunities for a horse on dirt turf are plentiful, and if he takes to the dirt and we're able to try to make some noise in the spring, I think that would just be super exciting. If we take a different route, you know, we've got a good horse, and we're excited about that as well.
And Chad, you were saying earlier, but if you can just repeat it for the folks in this room about how the horse was working well on the dirt, but you debuted on the grass because you wanted to go 2 turns.
Yeah, he's a real true 2-turn horse, and we could see in his works that, you know, hustling him off the bit early in some faster works in the morning, he wasn't really effective. And you know, up at Saratoga looking to get him started, and if you run in those short distance dirt, you know, maiden races, they can really come up difficult and fast. So I didn't want to just run him off his feet and blow him up early. And Jeff and Don are great. You know, this is whatever you think we need to do, we'll do. And you know, sometimes when you have a real expensive horse like this, that's by a horse that was a really classic dirt horse, you know, Belmont Stakes winner, Palace Malice, and you tell him you want to debut him on the turf, is normally a disappointing phone call for an owner. But you know, these guys are great. They said, listen, if that's what you think you need to do, you're the expert. Put him on there and see what happens. And here we are. And you know, I'd like to try to get him on the dirt in the spring, but I think Jeff said it perfect. It's not to take away from this. If he wins the Belmont Derby next year, we're going to be just as happy. But he does. You know, I've been here before with other horses that have won these juvenile turf races, and I don't think I've ever said I'm going to run one on the dirt. So this horse, he gives me the feeling like he'll take to it. We'll see. You know, we'll enjoy this. And I also like to say, you know, we're getting the trophy up there about how it's their first Breeders' Cup starter and winner. You know, we've been here before. Doing that with Bob Edwards, same way. But I'll tell you something, it's not just beginner luck because they've owned horses, particularly Jeff, with me now for at least a couple years, and there's been setbacks and some disappointments along the way, and he's never backed up and got sour on it or disappointed. He's got the patience that it takes to stay here, and it's not just like this is the first horse they bought. Yep. So I think I think he deserves a lot of credit for just staying with it. And his approach is going to lead him here more times, I can tell you that.
Questions from in the room? Amanda?
Obviously, he was a pricey purchase that has proven well worth it, but what went into the thought of spending the money for him, given his pedigree, given that it was a new stallion? And also talk a little bit about winning your first Breeders' Cup in your first try. That's got to feel pretty good.
Well, you asked a couple of questions there. I'll take a shot at the first part. Maybe you want to answer the second, but I think we over time have put together a great team. People that Mike and Mary Ryan with our bloodstock agent, just going out finding good horses. They're very talented people. They work with Chad. We try to collaborate on picking out the right horses, and then of course, you look at. I think I told Don, he was telling me when we were walking down the tunnel, he said, I remember when you bought the horse, you said you might have raised your hand one too many times. But turns out it worked out great. Great team that we've been able to assemble. You want to talk about winning your first Breeders' Cup?
I'm good. Jeff said it all, so thank you.
Chad, you said that despite your past successes in this race, you haven't really had a situation like this where you've looked forward to running one of them on the dirt. And yet this has been a pretty productive race the past few years for horses that have ended up trying the dirt. What is that all about? Why has this race become so productive for the spring races?
I'm not sure. It's actually my first time winning this race, but I've won, on the Philly version, we've won several times, and the same question is about, Kentucky Oak. So that's sort of where I was going with that. I'm not really sure. I sort of just focus on my own horses, and when you're dealing with a newly turning 3-year-old colt, and they're Grade 1 winner, even if it's on turf, you can't help but explore running on the dirt. I'd say that's one reason for it. And just to follow up on what Jeff said about Mike and Mary Ryan, I mean, I think it's well known now. Mike's my partner in a lot of what we do, and he just without him, we wouldn't have this horse today. I had nothing to do with. I didn't even see the horse at the sale. I mean, Mike bought this horse and recommended that Jeff sent him to me, and he was adamant that this was a top horse when he picked him out, and he's picked out many, and I'm sure he'll pick out many more. And I just definitely want to thank him for finding this wonderful, talented horse.
Excellent. Any other questions? All right. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Thanks for coming down here to meet with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
The winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, Structor.
I'll say good luck, buddy.
Really appreciate it.